Good day, everyone. I trust you had a wonderful Sabbath and happy Sabbath to all. Today, we are very blessed to have Dr. Mabel Rapitsi with us. Dr. Mabel Rapitsi is a psychologist and she's going to share more information about support groups with us. The SAU Family Ministries Department is launching the support group ministry this year because so many people have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We have lost loved ones, we have lost friends, and people are not coping. But not everyone can afford to go to a counselor or to a therapist. And so that is why churches are encouraged to start support groups, not only for the members, but to help the communities as well. And one of the support groups I think that would be very relevant at this time would be for bereavement. And so if we know how we can support one another and so that the impact of COVID is not devastating, but we can cope to a certain extent with it. And we're just grateful that Dr. Rapitsi is going to share with us on support groups. There is a document that the SAU has for Families Ministries Department. We will make it available, but I would like to welcome Dr. Mabel Rapitsi and thank you so much for being willing to share with us just more information on support groups so that we understand how support groups work a bit better. Welcome, Sister Mabel, and thank you so much.
Hello. Hello, everyone there. I'm very grateful to be with you today on this platform to talk about support groups, the importance of support groups and how they work. And thank you, Connie, for inviting me. When we look at the global pandemic, we realize that it has increased the number of losses in the lives of most people. And a lot of people are in deep grief. Now, the question is, how do I cope with loss and grief? That is the question in the minds of some people who are suffering. What can I do to facilitate my grief recovery? There are quite a number of strategies or tools that one can use, or tools that are useful in promoting grief recovery. And amongst those are the support groups. Those who have lost their loved ones and those in divorce recovery have been found to benefit a lot from joining support groups. We will therefore take a closer look at the support groups in general and the important role they play in helping people cope with their challenges and in promoting healing. As a starting point, let us look at what the Bible says about the importance of social support for those in challenging situations. If we read Philippians 2, verse 4, it says, encourage one another and build each other up as you are already doing. This may speak to people in support groups. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 11 says, carry one another's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. This is also talking to people in support groups. 2 Corinthians 1, verse 3 says, praise be to God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. This is what they do in the support groups. This is what they believe in. And this is what we all believe in. If we go on and read Hebrews 10, verse 24 to 25, let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. So we find that here there's a lot of emphasis on encouraging one another, on comforting one another, on supporting one another, and which form the basis of the support groups. Now, the question now is, what is a support group? What is a support group? A support group is a small group of people with similar difficulties who meet on a regular basis to support each other. They provide each other with various types of help, which is non-professional and non-material. So we are stressing non-professional because there are other support groups that are very professional, that are conducted or led by professionals or therapists. It is a group of people with common experiences, common concerns or challenges, who meet to provide encouragement, comfort, and support to each other. They help each other not to lose courage in the face of their suffering. So it is really, really, really important for a person who's suffering alone, to look for a support group and join and not suffer alone, or to participate in starting a support group. We do have support groups that are available. It's not a new phenomenon. We do have support groups that are available, and we can learn from them, or we can join them. For grieving people who have lost their loved ones, we have grief recovery support groups. We have divorce recovery groups. And we also have addiction recovery groups, such as AA, Alcoholic Anonymous. In mental health, we have mental health support group, the mental health support group, SEDEC, which is South African Depression and Anxiety Group. We also have Abused Women in Recovery Group. We have AIDS support groups. All these groups, they provide help to the people who are suffering. One may ask a question, why is a support group important? Why is it important? I can deal with my issues and I can just discuss things with my family. When one is struggling with a particular challenge, be it physical or mental, studies show that a strong support system is very important in helping a person cope better with the challenge and recover sooner. When facing life's challenges, the first people to whom you turn for support are often your friends and family members. They do give support. They do give the support that they can give you. But we are saying, although they may give you the needed support and courage to go on, they often struggle to relate fully to your struggle and may not have a full understanding of what you are going through. They may understand what you say, but not understanding it fully. It therefore becomes useful to find people with similar struggles as yours, to sit down and talk with them. As you share your struggles, you often feel listened to and understood. As they are in the same boat as yours, they can relate better to what you are going through. They can also share their stories of struggles and how they are coping. And this can be very relieving. In mental health studies have shown that social support can help reduce stress, can help reduce depression, as well as anxiety. For people who are in grief, support groups have been found to help greatly, to help a lot. They help reduce stress, they help reduce, they even help reduce the depression of grief, the depression that goes with grief, that accompanies grief. This includes those people who have lost their loved ones and those who are in divorce recovery. For those people who are struggling with health issues such as cancer, diabetes, and others, support groups have been found to help them cope better with their challenges. Now, as I've already said, there are existing support groups. There are already existing support groups, and they exist for a purpose. What is the purpose? What are those purposes of a support group? We know that firstly, they provide an opportunity for people to share their personal experiences, to talk about their experience, to share with people who understand where you come from. Feelings of frustration, discouragement, sadness, and sorrow are shared. Your burden feels lighter after sharing it with people who can relate to it. A person who joined a support group for people living with AIDS shared with me or said to me some years back, I was devastated by my diagnosis. I felt that my life was coming to an end. Remember those days, being diagnosed with HIV was really devastating. Unlike now. I was overwhelmed and was not coping. I felt alone and abandoned by God. Though my family showed understanding and tried to be supportive, I felt they did not fully understand how I felt and what the diagnosis meant to me. Well, a few months down the line, I learned of a support group of people in Johannesburg, of people like me. Then I joined that support group. What an encouragement I got from the group as we shared stories of devastation, as we shared our stories of stigmatization, and as we shared our stories of hope despite our challenges. By participating in that group, this person continues. She said, by participating in that group, I realized that I am not alone in this struggle. And I got courage to go on. Because remember, I just felt it's the end of the world. I can't continue with life. I may not live for the next 5 years. But I got courage to go on. My hope was restored. And I began to enjoy life again as I am enjoying it now. She was saying it then. My negative thinking patterns made way for positive ones. I began to think positively from their stories and from all the things we shared in the group. They helped me change my thinking patterns. They helped me see hope, realize that things are not as bad as I think. Now, a second purpose of support groups is to learn coping skills or to learn coping strategies. One learns from others with similar problems, how they are coping, especially those who have moved a mile towards recovery in their journey of suffering. In grief recovery, those who have really moved a mile in grief recovery, they give one hope, and you believe, hey, I will be there also one day. If you are still in your first months of grieving, you really get hope when you see others there, and you believe in few months' time you might also be there. Another purpose is to feel empowered, in a group. As information is shared in this group, one learns a lot from the group. You learn a lot from the group as they share what worked for them, what is not working for them, and the resources that are available that they are using. You learn a lot and you feel empowered. You get strengthened and you feel empowered. The load becomes bearable. And then the third purpose of a support group is to have a sense of community. A support group is an ideal place for those who feel isolated in their suffering and need to know that they are not alone in their struggle. It is comforting to know that others are also having it hard. You are not the only one. You are not forgotten by God. No, others are also having it hard. We live in a world full of problems, challenges, trials. As Jesus said, we will face these challenges, but we must be brave, we must be courageous, because he overcame the world. And then you meet people who are also going through the same challenges. Then you feel better, you feel comforted. Now let's look at the benefits of a support group. Benefits which are more or less similar to the purpose of the support group. According to David Sussman, a well-known psychologist, in an article advocating for better mental health, he says, participating in a support group may have many benefits. And these benefits include the following. One, realizing that you are not alone in your suffering, as I've already mentioned earlier, and that there are others with similar concerns and are there in the group to encourage and support you in your journey. You are not alone. Secondly, a support group provides an opportunity to express your feelings in a safe environment, an environment that is supportive and non-judgmental. At times, you are not free to express your feelings to your friends. You are not free to express your feelings to your family because you don't want to stress them. But in a group, you are free to express your feelings. And you are free because you feel it is a safe environment and you feel it is non-judgmental. In a support group, people don't judge each other. They offer non-judgmental comments. This promotes recovery and healing, especially if the group members praise you for your openness, really opening your heart and telling them how you feel, even if it's just very, very, very bad feelings. You might just be so angry with your spouse, or so angry with your boss, but you are free then to express your feelings. And group members, they encourage you to talk about your concerns and to talk about your feelings. Initially, you may not feel free to talk about your feelings and about all this. You may not feel safe, but with time you feel safe, and they encourage you to talk. And then another benefit of being in a support group is gaining improved social skills. Your social skills improved. There's some problems that people experience tend to make them withdraw from others, such as depression. Depression tends to make you isolate and keep to yourself. But a support group help you to meet and interact with others effectively. And then you begin to feel safe around others. And as you feel safe, healing is promoted. Recovery is promoted. Grief recovery is promoted as you feel safe around other people. And as you learn, as you feel safe around other people. And then another objective, another benefit besides improved social skills, you learn self-understanding, especially if you open up in a group. If you open up in a group, you learn self-understanding as you interact and learn from others. One may gain a better understanding of one's needs and an increased insight into how one could have contributed to the existing challenge. Like, for instance, there could be strained family relations. You are just not happy with everybody, they are just fighting. You are just not happy. But you may gain insight and realize that in grieving, there is anger. And it's important how you manage that anger in your relationships. And then you begin to say, hey, let me check if I am not contributing to the strained relationships because of my anger, which is the anger of grief. But without gaining that insight in the interaction and learning from others how they have experienced their journey of grief, you would not be able to gain that insight. Another benefit is gaining hope. Gaining hope in a group, in a support group, one gains hope for the future. As one sees those who are far ahead on their recovery journey, they may indicate that recovery is possible and may bring hope to the one who is still behind on the road of recovery. And then the sixth benefit is reduced stress. In a support group, stress tends to be reduced. You feel better when you've been to a support group. After the interaction and all that, you go back home, you feel much better than yesterday or much better than before you went there. As one interacts with others, as one shares one's feelings with them and works through various concerns, overall stress tends to be reduced and one tends to feel better. Again, you also get an opportunity to help other group members. One benefit is just that opportunity to be helpful to others. You know, when you help others, you heal yourself. So when you get an opportunity to do something good for somebody, know that you are promoting your own healing. So in a group, an opportunity to get to help other group members, you interact and learn from them and learn from other group members. Also benefit from your supportive and encouraging comments, as well as your success stories. So if you are in a support group and you don't say anything right through, then you are depriving other people of an opportunity to learn from you or an opportunity to benefit from you. So you have to do something when you are in a support group. Offer positive comments, encouraging and supportive comments. Share your story, which is helpful to other people. And then the last one is affordability. Support groups are generally free and no membership payment is required, although donations may be requested when a need arises. It is therefore easy to join a support group than a therapy group, which may require some payments. How do you get the most from a support group? You cannot just be there and not get all the benefits that I have mentioned. Dr. Marsha Dr. Marsha Linehan, a psychologist, gives the following guidelines for engaging effectively in a group so that you get the benefit. He says, be on time and stay for the whole group time. Some people come late and they leave early. They miss a lot. They miss a lot. So be on time and use the time fruitfully. You also by supporting other group members with encouragement and helpful comments. Avoid, he says, avoid critical and judgmental comments in a group. If you do that and other people do that, so you all benefit as group members. He says, be alert and attentive. Listen carefully and jot down notes of important points. You benefit a lot from a support group. Now, let's quickly look at online support groups. There are support groups. We have face-to-face support groups, but there are also online support groups. These are of great value to those who feel more comfortable expressing themselves anonymously, as other users may not know who they are. They tend to be more open and there is reduced embarrassment, especially when they want to open about certain things. Again, greater expertise is offered in a larger online social network. Online support groups are easily accessible to those who do not have transport to go to the support group meetings, or do not have time, or do not know, they have young children, they don't know what to do, they don't have people who can babysit. Online support groups might be very helpful. Members of online groups can reread. Another advantage is that one can reread and edit the comments before sending them away. Remember, we said on a support group, you have to comment, you have to be supportive, you have to, you must not just be passive. So here you can check, you can re-edit your comments to make sure that it is really helpful. As the Bible says, encourage one another. They also have access to their website anytime during the day for the support they need. Examples of current online grief recovery. We have grief recovery groups that are online. I have quite a few examples of them. A group sponsored by churches. And we have here in Johannesburg and Pretoria, but I just have a few here in Johannesburg, sponsored by churches. We have the Rosebank Union Church in Johannesburg. We have the Edenvale Baptist Church in Johannesburg. We have the Church Alive support group, grief. These are grief support groups. Support group in Johannesburg. We have Charles Catholic Church in Johannesburg, grief support, grief recovery support groups. So we have these online groups. We can learn a lot from them if we want to start an online group. How to start a support group? We have to think about what we want to achieve in our support groups. Check if there are no existing similar support groups in the area that you can join. Decide if the group you want to start will meet for a specific period or an indefinite period of time. Find people who may be interested in joining the group. Decide on a suitable venue. If it is a church group, follow the church protocol and make sure that you do the right thing. As I conclude, I want to say support groups can be very rewarding and healing and should be considered as one of the strategies in an overall recovery plan. Currently, Grief recovery support groups are a great necessity. This is that we are, because of the losses we suffer daily and the difficulties in coping with the pain of loss. Grief recovery support groups are needed. May God give us the wisdom and courage to start such groups where they are needed. May God bless us all. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rapitsi. I'm sure you learned a lot from it. I learned so much from it. It's just given me a lot more information on support groups, and I trust that we will use the information that's been given to us along with the document that the SAU has prepared, that we will go and see if we can start support groups at our churches for our members, and also to help our communities that are going through very difficult or that are experiencing very difficult challenges at the moment. So thank you so much, Dr. Rapitsi, for your time, and thank you for being willing once again to share your wealth of knowledge with us. Thank you so much.